this is, first of all, it's my friend. He's my friend, Maini. He's an extraordinary entrepreneur. And just, it's quite strange. There's no fire, so we'll do it this way. Maini, how come that a guy from Seckau in Austria, a small village, with being a wood maker, a lawyer, unfortunately for you, a McKinsey guy, sometime. How come you build in an extraordinarily mature market like the Spanish one with Telefónica, Vodafone, and Orange, fighting each one against each other? How come you built a company to challenge these guys, and in Spain, where you're not a Spaniard?
Well, hello everybody. Thank you, Eduardo. Why did we create MásMóvil? MásMóvil originally was a so-called MVNO, a mobile virtual network operator, which is a mobile service provider that rents the network from a traditional mobile operator and then provides the service to the final customers. Why did we do that in Spain? Basically because we saw a market opportunity. The Spaniards have traditionally been the most unsatisfied communication clients in Europe and with the highest prices. So we saw an opportunity both in terms of objective offering as well as delivering a better service. In addition, as Eduardo said, I'm from a very small village in Austria, 1,300 inhabitants, about 5,000 cows, and in the middle of the Alps. So, and from this small village, there is also the founder of the most successful MVNO in Austria, Josef Meyer, is from the same village. We went to the same school, and he did in Austria, which was actually the most competitive mobile market in Europe back then, in 10 years or 15 years ago. And I thought, okay, if this is possible in Austria, then there should also be an opportunity in a country with the highest prices, with the most dissatisfied clients. So this was the business. The private side, back then I had a Spanish novia, a girlfriend, so that was also an additional incentive. And basically we were young. I was 30 when we started, and my partner was 33. Even though he's looking a bit much more older than me. No, so we were a bit naive, and we probably underestimated the effort to create a company, and a relevant company, in a country that we didn't know basically, or that we didn't have any business contacts in. I still remember the first time when we went to a lawyer to create our company, and we told him, okay, what do we have to do to create a company here? He said, okay, tell me the business purpose. What do you want to do? A mobile operator. And he asked, a shop to sell mobile phones? No, a mobile operator. He almost kicked us out of his office, but he's still now the secretary of our board. So things evolve.
That guy is Alberto Castañeda, a very good guy. After I entered the company as an angel investor, you convinced me on your own, not because of the business plan, which was verrückt, as you would say in German, totally crazy. You got to have Northzone, one of the key players in the venture capital arena in Europe, as a seed investor. I don't know if there's any Northzone representative here, but this was totally amazing. How did you get these guys to put money?
I don't know, really. It was pre-Spanish crisis. Actually, there was a partner in Northzone. I mean, first, I have a McKinsey background, and a lot of those guys have been in McKinsey. And my partner is Norwegian, and those guys are also Scandinavian, and many of them Norwegian. So there was a bit of connection. And then the MVNO model, the traditional MVNO model to create a lean operation, online-based, prepaid frequently, was very successful in Scandinavia, in their home market. In addition, it's not confirmed, but what my feeling was that this partner that invested in us liked Spain, liked to play golf here, liked sailing. So it was also an emotional part. Unfortunately, he left the company basically to a sabbatical leave for, I think, 3 years to Australia, just a few months after investing to us. And then the next partner came and said, we don't invest in Spain, you're in Spain. We don't invest in telecom, you're in telecom. So how come? What should we do with you? If I recuperate the investment, I will build you a statue in Oslo. He recuperated the investment, and he's quite happy actually, but I have no statue yet in Oslo.
I will make sure that he builds it. You made a very quick, let's call it, to call it somehow, a Series A and B with Spanish established venture capital like Inberredi and Aldebaran, and then all directly to the Mercado Alternativo Bursátil. Why was this, and what challenges did you have to do that?
Well, basically, what happened is we founded MásMóvil in 2006, so pre-crisis. We launched already in crisis in 2008. We needed 2 years without salary, without support, anything, to get launched, because basically we were dependent on an agreement with a mobile operator to rent his network to us. And this lasted for 2 years because nobody really wanted to have an additional competitor in the market. So we launched, we did this first round with Northon. We didn't take all the money that they were willing to give us, because I thought, oh, right now we don't want to get diluted that much, and let's see. So when we wanted to do the second round, no money left for the Spanish market. No, there were these title pages in the Economist, Spain, the hole in the European balance sheet, etc. And therefore we had to grow, let's say, very prudently and to be very efficient in our growth dynamics. And we had smaller rounds with Spanish VCs. And then in 2013, we had to take a decision whether to sell. We had some offers, modest prices, but we had some offers to sell, or to continue and grow into a bigger operations, a bigger company that would, beside mobile, also offer other services, because we saw that the Spanish market became increasingly convergent, meaning offering bundle sales, internet, mobile, and fixed all together. And without this offering, it was difficult to grow. So at the end, we said, okay, we want to continue, but we had to find a way to access capital. And for us, the way was that we integrated with a smaller fixed line player that was listed on the Spanish junior market, on the MAP, on Mercado Alternativo Bursátil. We merged with them and had, for the first time, access to capital. And so for this, our reason was we looked for growth money to accelerate our expansion.
And now, driving towards the stock exchange, 1 billion, almost 1 billion market cap. Honestly, were you thinking so big when you began?
No. I think there's a lot of luck in this process as well. I think originally the idea was to create a MVNO with 200, 300, 400,000 clients, and probably sell it afterwards. That was the initial plan. It took us a lot more time. Now it's 11 years, but also I think the evolution of the company is very satisfying. I think probably the turnaround moment, beside going to the junior market and having access to capital and being able to buy smaller companies to complement our service offering, the key element, and that's a bit the luck that I referred to, was when we could buy the remedy package that was designed by the European Commission in the merger of Orange and Chastel. So in Spain in 2014, in the second half of 2014, the third operator in the Spanish market announced to buy the fourth operator, Chastel, and the European Commission said, okay, fine, but to approve this merger, you have to sell off some assets. And these were very valuable broadband assets that after almost a year of process and the competitive environment with other interested parties, the European Commission together with Orange decided to select MásMóvil as the fourth operator in the Spanish market and to sell assets that cost probably in its implementation 500 to 600 million for 20 million to us. So this was a very beneficial deal, and suddenly we had broadband infrastructure, ADSL and fiber in all over Spain. That was the turnaround moment, and that was a lot of luck as well. I mean, we worked quite hard, but a lot of luck as well.
He's an extremely hard worker. I think you're one of the, if not the only one I know, probably I know another one, that has made a home run. So from a pure startup in a crazy sector to the stock exchange, fostered by venture capital, well, fools first, then families and some friends, then angel investors, venture capital, early stage, late stage, and now you have Providence on board, which is a big private equity firm. And on top of that, you have dealt with banking, syndicate loans, junior, subordinated, etc., etc. I wouldn't go further because this guy has more experience than probably all of us in the room in terms of building financing. What is your experience with this venture capital private equity?
First, I mean, depends a bit. I think it's much easier with investors that know the market, so the territory and as well as the sector. Now we have our private equity, Providence, that has around 18% of the capital, knows very well, 18%, knows very well the market. They have been for 11 years in Ono, and they know very well the sector as well, no? Obviously. So this is very easy. We get along very well and perfect. In the history, initially with Scandinavian investors, it was not that easy because we had to convince them of very obvious things initially for the Spanish market. No, in Scandinavia, for instance, the MVNO have been traditionally prepaid MVNOs. And in Spain, they said, okay, if you have 65% postpaid, so bank account-based lines, we should also offer the service, and that cost us 1.5 years not to convince them. So we had both experience. In general, for me, it was also a question of honor to continue because my original plan was 3-4 years and then return home to Austria. And but since I had family, friends, especially a lot of friends that invested us and supported us in the initial phase, for me it was a question of honor to make sure that they get their money back, and that helped me to continue.
What do you think are the keys for success if you think you have succeeded?
I mean, I'm not sure if we succeeded. Yes, we created a company that is performing very well. Operationally, we are growing with the fastest operator right now, both in mobile as well as in broadband in the Spanish market. But there's still a lot of things to do, and we see still a lot of opportunities, and that makes me also continue, because my job now doesn't have anything to do with my job 1 year ago. There's continuous movement. For me, probably if I would select one character element of a successful entrepreneur is persistency. Never give up, continue. For instance, last year the we were a company that by mid last year we were a company of 130 million of revenues, and we bought a company that had 850 million revenues. So we bought a mobile operator called Yoigo, and this deal was dead during months. Another fund got exclusivity of negotiations, etc. And we continued to push, and we believed in the deal, and at the end we made it. But this was a typical situation where a team without persistency would have probably said, okay, let's do something else. The other thing is critical, and I must say, for me, HR was always bullshit. Basically, during a long time, I said, okay, there's not so much difference between the people in the MBA class. HR and business ethics were really things where I hardly listened because I ignored it completely. And the conclusions after 11 years of entrepreneurship is that people are really key, and it's very important to select very well your team. Not always the people with the best experience are the best fit for your team. So there must be a cultural fit as well. And to create a culture that has a positive element, that the people like to work and they are motivated, well, that's for me very key. Now I have probably the most professional team I ever had in these 11 years, so I have time to have this fire chat with you.
Okay, do you have any question?
Could you share with us some lessons learned from things that have not gone so well during this 11-year period? Like things that you do differently if you had to start over?
IT. I'm a lawyer, background of lawyer, no? And I initially believed the IT guys are to repair my laptop, to ensure that the emails arrive and the fax would work. I infra-evaluated the importance of a perfect back office in IT. So to select very well, and this was a problem for us during years, no? To select very well the IT professionals, and the platform on which you build a scalable and sustainable business is very important. That we undervaluated. And the other thing is what I a bit mentioned before, to select team members that fit very well into your culture. And even though they don't have all the experience you believe, think of it. I mean, for us, for instance, to hire people with a long trajectory in a traditional operator did not work because the environment is completely different. So these have been key elements that probably we would have. And the other, obviously, that I mentioned also indirectly is I would have taken all the money at the beginning. Then we probably we would not have learned to be that efficient, but we would have had a very much stronger growth momentum. Thank you. Thank you, Eduardo.